You want to know style? You want to know boom shoots? You want to know about a game made by a ragtag of characters led by a humble Fumo collector from Finland and published by the same company who bring out Dusk? Well, I got the game for you. Ultrakill is amazing. I may consider this adding to my top 10 favorite games of all time, and that's saying something. Make that top 5. It's funny because this game is still on early access for over 4 years. The history about this game is always something. Created by a guy named RC Patala, or under his username Hakita, along with some friends. Game's development began in February 2018. Precisely the second, because this gameplay footage here is day 1. The Genesis. Yeah, you can't get any more early than this. Yeah, nothing much is going on here, but it's confirmed that this gun here is the very first thing modeled, long before our gay robot protagonist became a thing. That design of the more prominent characters are credited to Jericho Roos, Tony Stigel, and Big Rock BMP. On August 28, 2019, the demo was launched to the public, only containing the prelude, which is a taste of what's to come, and people loved it. Then on the 3rd of September 2020, the game released in early access with new contents, weapons, the second layer, and the cyber grind. Then the following updates from 2020 to 2023 included a ton of things. New layers, levels, weapons, red variants, alt weapons, brutal difficulty, soundtracks for the cyber grind with special guest composers like Health and Keygen Church, and more bug fixes. The December 2023 update, known as the Violent Night update, was the last then major addition to the game's progression with Layer 7, Violence. The last update until the recent one went quiet for over 9 whole months. And then the game released with an ultra revamped update. Now, if you haven't played Ultrakill for the past year or two, then you may notice the differences. Mainly the visuals got a massive upgrade. A New Blood uploaded a video to see how each level got the glow up, which starts immediately with a New Blood intro from V that reminds me of the old Rockstar Games intro for GTA 3 and Smuggler's Run 2. We get this menu here that isn't an endless fall, but a design schematic. And minor spoilers here, but the V1 look will change if you got new arms. By then, you're playing what's equivalent to a beta, and now, we're in the late build stages. During the writing and playthrough of this script, the rest of Act 3 isn't made yet. We'll probably make a video when that's finished. Eventually. Hopefully not 2 more years. Now enough pissing around, let's play. After deleting my save, starting a fresh new one, and calibrating the settings, I begin the trek to the depths of hell itself. I'm playing this on standard difficulty, don't judge me. Here's the story of what you need to know. You are a robot named V1, rebooted after God knows when, and you were given 3 directives. Mankind is dead. Blood is fuel. Hell is full. Then you landed at the entryway, and the first thing I see is a different introduction level. Low on health, I punched the boards, and the game is giving me basic tutorials like dashing, ground pound, sliding, and soaking yourself with the blood of your enemies being your only source of health. Until you find a blood orb which doubles your max health temporarily. Soul orbs only give you extra style points, and this is one of the game's collectibles. The only benefit with these is the weapon color customization. After that, the real intro begins, and you can tell with the lack of HUD, and me fucking up the flow. For a second there, I thought the statue was flipping me off. The fodder enemies known as filth can easily get one shot by fisting, but these vermin will come in packs. And if they get a hit on you, that's 30% of your health taken away. But remember, blood is fuel. These guys' the strays usually run away if you're close, but here's the thing. They shoot hell orbs, and you can parry them by punching, and those things are deadly for them because they explode. The piercer does its job, but the secondary is a pocket railgun that pierces through 5 enemies at a time. Powerful enough to break these glass to send enemies to their demise. Oh, for those who notice something's off, yeah, the game lets you set the gun position from the left, right, or center. And since I'm naturally left-handed like Bruce Willis, I get the rare opportunity to play an FPS where the character is a lefty, if you wanted to. The only other FPS games I know that does that was either Clive Barker's The Undying and Die Hard Nakatomi Plaza. The game updated the death screen. This is the malicious face, but everyone in the community calls him Maurice. Maurice isn't a floating head but a glorified daddy longleg spider shooting either a stream of hell balls or his death beam attack, wiping 60% of your health. As you can clearly see, I've played this before. By the way, these will come in as basic enemies in the next levels. Your wanking arm is called a feedbacker, and not only parries projectiles but also melee weapons. And if you time Maurice's charged up death beam, and you can cancel this guy's attack, dealing massive damage. After the first level, you'll notice a terminal. This is the shop and it does a few things. Sell upgrades, update your loadout, check the codex, or send you to the cyber grind or sandbox. The game lets you buy upgrades for the weapons, and the prices aren't terrible if you know how to ultrakill. The first thing you'll likely get is the marksman, and this lets you toss a coin and shoot that little bastard that ricochets to the nearest enemy's weak point. If you want to get fancy, the coins can be chained, and if you time it just right, the shot splits into 2 that targets the 2 enemies at a time, all on weak points. You see this guy just smash those fodder like it's nothing. Oh, we'll get a piece of him pretty soon. In the room he came out of it looks squeaky clean, apart from the Jibs and Hell corpses. You see this blue altar here? Well, I'm not going to touch it. The game's secrets are well hidden. The next level is more of the same with less crushers. Thing is, you get to fight that boxy-ass robot known as Source Machine. And not only he has a sword bearing his name, but a good old boomstick. Put the boom on literally. Ultrakill is telling you that the kitty gloves are about to come off after the prelude, and Source Machine is the initiation. Source Machine backs off mid-fight, and you get to try out a new toy, his shotgun. The game tells you that your shotgun is also your grenade launcher if you use the alt fire that blows up cracked walls. The primary is fine, which pierces through fodder enemies, but the primary had the secret function. You can parry your own pellets, and they explode. This was started out as a bug, but Hakita thought it was so cool he left it in as a feature. Basically, your secondary is moot for the moment. I faced that minion's yellow mattress in the box head coward and finished him off by clowning his ass, and coin shot to give him the Abe Lincoln treatment. I'm getting ass rank so far, so why not something different? I'm buying a shotgun upgrade, and this is my workhorse slash health siphoning tool known as the Sawed-On. Holding all fire is your generic chainsaw. Releasing that shoots it out, and you parry it like a paddle ball to keep the chainsaw going. Also, the string can break if the line between you and the chainsaw are severed. Yeah, this level is practically my glorified tutorial on the chainsaw, but also forgot to mention the rapid-firing enemies known as the schisms. The game updated their projectiles so they are chained together, damaging the player if they touch the links. It doesn't look like a problem, but wait until they come in packs. In the climax, I immediately bought the third upgrade for that pistol known as the Sharpshooter. Its secondary spins the gun, and shooting it does ricochet that also pierces through enemies, but not much as the piercer. It also has some heavy aim assist when ricocheting upon enemies. Gun can be nasty in tight spaces. Beyond this door is you facing off these thinking man looking statues known as Cerberus. Abandon hope all ye who enter here. Oh, that's cool, I have ad block. Cerberus is the guardian of hell, but also the first layer of players getting filtered because I remember he whooped my ass in the first demo, but this is long before the game had the entire arsenal implemented. Nowadays it's more of a pushover thanks to my chainsaw health-lusted shotgun. However, just you think you're about to deal with one Cerberus, another tag teams in. Once the Cerberite twins have vanquished, we now enter Layer 1 into the Inferno. And so we're sick of the red and yellow industrial areas, so now we move to a completely different environment and toss this coin at a fountain. Oh, by the way, this exit is a hint for a challenge to beat the level in under 10 seconds. So I never played any of the secret levels in this game, let alone the P-rank ones. The secret levels here are mainly gimmick ones, where it's a homage to other games. This one here is The Witness. By that I mean the level is a pun named after the game where you do line puzzles. Also, it bugs me that these X's are not pixel X's, but pixel crosses in a 45-degree angle. Back to Limbo, you're gonna pick up some colored skulls, and those are the game's keys. Also, meet the drones. They're assholes, but can easily be dispatched by a charged up shot or an explosion. However, if they didn't explode, they go to this spinning martyrdom state, but you can parry that or send it to the nearest enemies, which deals massive damage. The battles here are going to get a little meaner, so here's your new toy, the nail gun. and test it out on Mace. In the older versions, the main variant had infinite ammo, but since the game would lag the hell out of this, it was rightfully nerfed and only shoot out 100 nails and 3 magnets until it needs to recharge. Gun is glorious though. There's a secret in the final room where you break open this glass, and there's a mystery button that you'll press. I'll get to that later. Ending the level, I upgraded the gun with the overheat variant that spits out hot nails in a million rounds per minute, which immolates anyone if they got hit. Perfect for adding more pain in the magnets. After obtaining another soul orb, grabbed the skull, and dealt with a few lowly hellspawn, I enter this hallway, and notice burning corpses. This leads back to the murder room I painted red, and exiting the place, not only the peaceful fake scenery is now in flames, I was introduced to the street cleaners. Flame trooper bots that I can't parry because they use flamethrowers. This room is new. More of these street cleaners broke out of the matrix walls, so I fed their ass with lead and coins. Okay, next secret, which is my favorite. Civvy! Hey Civvy, when are you gonna make Propane 2 the fall of propane? Also, you still planning on making that Viscera Fest video yet?
Oh, hey Sip!
Oh, I want his autograph. So anyways, let's head back and... Moving on. Next level is interesting because this door opens if you got one of the 2 skulls. In hindsight, the game is cutting you a break where you skip the other skull, but I recommend getting the other one to open up this secret. This room here is where I get my ass handed, no thanks to Mace. Place the other skull on the altar, and the secret door opens to reveal another mystery button. Unless I dealt with 2 swords machines, Agony and Tundra. New boss, the Hideous Mass. A scorpion-looking ass pile of meat and stone, where only in the meat part is the weakness. After painting the room red like I was watching The Elusive Samurai, I leave the place and advance to the climax. This one had a total glow up from the previous version because it looks so damn good. This is our first introduction of the Archangel Gabriel. Also, this red guy looked like V1. Anyways, ever wonder why I was pushing buttons? Well, in this room, those Roman numerals are glowing blue, and the last one is right here. Pressing these buttons from the previous level grants you a prize. This baby is the alternate version of the piercer known as the Slab. This is a nastier, meaner revolver, and the game states that the alt variants of weapons will change its base behavior. The Slab's known weakness is the slower fire rate, can't do split shots from the coin, and if you're using the sharpshooter, only one charge. Sounds like a bum deal, but I main the Slab as my pocket railgun, and the other variants I use the piercer. Slab can also break cracked walls and windows. Back to the level, you can meander around this place to collect 3 skulls and put them to altars, but then again, you can skip that by breaking this window. You call yourself V2, but all I see is a cheap fucking knockoff.
Oh no. I'm the upgrade.
So if you think in past 2 Cerberus is the first layer of filtering, then V2 is the point to prove that you are worthy, or just suck at the game. If you want to survive this battle, you gotta slide around like a madman, and being the certified dumbass that I am, I didn't slide spam and relied on the magnet trap I use. However, through a few restarts I prevailed, and that teenu excuse of a V2 upgrade dropped a fancy new arm that shoots out shockwaves called the Knuckle Blaster. I don't use these much because parrying is king here. Entering the layer of Lust, and comparing to the previous updates, this one in general had the best glow up. So instead of flat city skylines, the buildings in the background now have depth, and damn, it's beautiful to look at. The battles once again are getting meaner, and meet the upgraded strays, who are now literally armed with shotguns. Solution? Punch or high noon. Anyways, do you want a railgun? This baby is a heavy hitter, the Lance of Longinus, and instead of calling it a railgun, it's a rail cannon. Think the Piercer's all fire, but it can mop the floor against enemies weaker than the Maurice in one shot, and had no limits on how many enemies to pierce through. Since this is electric, it can also shock enemies if they're in a body of water, electrify some Tesla nodes, electrify nail gun magnets for extra damage, and if you use the coins, it can ricochet off of them, dealing even more damage. Only drawback is that it needs to recharge after a single shot. Also, since this is an electric weapon, it's ill-advised to use it underwater. The rail cannon is also the only weapon in the game to not have an alt fire, but it doesn't need to since it's already a death machine. There's also the alts, Screwdriver and Maurice Cannon, but I prefer the tried and true electric death beam. So yeah, shotgun soldiers. They're not that bad, but what about them mind flayers? The first one is a mini-boss, and this thing teleports, melee, shoots laser beams, and sends homing projectiles at you. Also, they're the sexiest enemy by a mile. Robots be like that. They're a high priority target, and to deal with them, I parry the homing projectiles because the flares telegraph them so hard. Stick some magnets and pour nails, railgun the bitch, and once she starts screaming, move away because she explodes upon death. Anyways, here's my tier list of enemy priority. The two enemies that have colored stars represent that they're rare enemies, the pink being extremely rare, but also much more dangerous. The prime target tier is left empty, but let me assure you that this spot is reserved for the biggest enemy that caused me the most problems, then the ones that shoot homing missiles and that could teleport. After the waterworks, you're on a rail. After placing a skull, you face off the Wallmaster. But that's only the beginning. And after placing another skull into the altar, the real fight begins. In the court of the corpse king of Minos. Minos is a bad motherfucker, and since he's a towering behemoth, he can be an easy target. However, his punches are nasty, and his worst one are the black holes he produced. Stay away from those. His hands hold the walls so you have a glorified health dispenser. And in case you're wondering, you can parry his big ass punches. And it's a challenge thing. Long live the king. Someone with a war kink is gonna jerk off to this. Entering the lair of the fat bastard from Fullmetal Alchemist. Gluttony is a nasty place. Like you're in the insides of an unknown monstrous being, but then again you did exit the previous level by going in the Corpse King. This lair only has 2 levels, but this is normal because that's how it goes for the 3 acts. 3-1 is a gross place full of monsters, mind flayers, and a room of 3 Cerberus. There's also this room where the first wave is fine, but the second shuts off the lights, with 3 Maurices being the light source. The last battle I had to deal with some fodder, drones, and a mind flayer. And soon enough, once you're in the climax, you'll hear the dire warnings of an angel.
Machine, turn back now. The layers of this palace are not for your kind. Turn back, or you will be crossing the will of God.
As a one-machine army, you ignore that shit, sliding through the unrecognizable gory muscle tissue until you meet the archangel known as Gabriel, voiced by Gianni Montegrano, who also doubles as the best PR guy. I mean, he recite Gabriel means while in character. It's glorious.
Behold, the power of an angel!
By this point, if you're not an ultra-killing machine, learning how to parry, utilizing the slides and dashes and switch-it up weaponry, then you should give up right here and there, because you're not getting past Gabriel, whom he's playing this like Devil May Cry 3, while your dumb mayonnaise ass is playing COD. There ain't no cover the cower, and backwards charge shot pistol spam while avoiding his attacks will become tedious. If you want to get out of this gluttonous lair alive, you need to learn how to toss a coin and shoot it with a railgun, slide around the arena and shotgun punch his ass, parry his swords, impale him with a magnet and dump nails, and soon as you know it, he keels over.
How can this be? Bested by this thing? You insignificant fuck! This is not over! May your woes be many and your days few.
He kicked my ass 10 times, but it was almost 11. At least I completed the challenge. In my first playthrough years ago, I did beat him on violence, but it took me over an hour to do so. Gabriel may be defeated, but this is the end of Act 1. Gabriel lost a fight against a blood-soaked machine, and the Council is sickened by it. As punishment, his divine light is severed, and only has 24 hours left to live, unless he fixed that mistake. Keep this in mind that he took down some big names like Minos and Sisyphus. This Minos I fought was a corpse controlled by some parasites, and there is a hidden boss fight if you manage to P-rank the entire Act 1 plus Prelude. However, P-rank bosses are for another time. And so, that's the end of Part 1. Tune in next time where I descend to Act 2, in Perfect Hatred.